Well, hello friends, Mark Holmes here, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. What a damn difference a day makes. Wow. Here today, gone tomorrow. Yesterday this time, we were sitting out here, it was 68 degrees. It was sunny. I was in short sleeves. Man, the fish were swimming at the top of the pond like, hey, it's springtime. We'd have made it through winter already. And yet, today, it's about 37 degrees. It's been pouring down rain, and they're talking about a big-ass snowstorm coming through come Wednesday. Damn. Things change in a hurry. So, last year this time, we had Jason Garrett. We were looking at facing the Philadelphia Eagles in basically a game to save our season, in which case we lost. The Eagles won. They made the playoffs. Carson Wentz got hurt the first quarter, and the Cowboys, we ended up getting rid of Jason Garrett. Now, whether that was the right move or not, only time will tell. But what we do know is, at this moment, one thing I can say, I guess this is a good thing. When Jason Garrett in 2015 lost Tony Romo, they won one game without their starting quarterback. Well, Mike McCarthy's already done something that Jason Garrett couldn't do. He's won 2 games without a starting quarterback now that we've beat the Minnesota Vikings as well as the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, don't get this thing twisted. Don't get this wrong. Don't think that everything is fixed on the Dallas Cowboys and all of a sudden they're a great team. Let's look at the situation. I know that this is the Cincinnati Bengal team with Joe Burrow that ended up tying the Eagles. I know that this is a Cincinnati Bengal team that, ended up, the Giants only beat 19-17. We blew them out. Great. You get a biscuit here. But the reality is they're a bad team that definitely did not want to win because they're looking at tanking. Listen to that wind. That wind is blowing like crazy. Let's see if the umbrella blows over. Is it going to go over? Last week it went over. Dez Bryant. When I talked about Dez Bryant, that thing flew over. Yeah. Let's see what it's going to do. Let's see what it's going to do. That's why I'm going to get one of the crank out things out there so that way it'll be bolted down and won't blow away. But anyway, Stephen Jones says, hey, Mike McCarthy's our coach for 2021. We believe in him. He said, we're going to end the speculation right here, right now, from this moment forward. We're done talking about this. Mike McCarthy will return as the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. So you can feel however you want to about that one. And let me read the exact quote. There will be absolutely no change with Coach Mike McCarthy, Jones said, and noting he is surprised that it's even thought of a possibility given the circumstances around the 2020 year involving the coronavirus pandemic and the number of injuries the Cowboys have suffered. Jones added, if you look at the track record and pedigree, he's consistently won year in and year out, and we have the uttermost confidence that this ship is going to be righted quickly, and Mike's going to be the leader of the group, and he certainly has and he's certainly a great head coach, and I think he's going to see that going forward, and that a great head coach in this league. He's accomplished a lot. He's going to accomplish a lot more of that before all is said and done. So this was after a victory that they're kind of giving him the attaboys, the pat on the backs, and the vote of confidence and saying, we're looking at stability. And maybe this is where they kind of talked about an effort and have a sense of urgency and think starting over again is just going to kick the can even further down the road to where they want to be. And the original things that brought Mike McCarthy to the Dallas Cowboys are the things that are keeping him here with the Dallas Cowboys. But make no mistake about it, there will be some changes in the offseason. We all know that Mike Nolan is on the hot seat. Now, I tell you what's kind of an interesting side piece to this. As I was going through on Bleacher Report today and getting some notes and things, as I get ready for a live stream tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern, hope you guys tune in for that because we get live on that live stream. Last week with Skywalker Steel was off the chain, and we talked about a lot of the issues with the Dallas Cowboys. And one other note too, if you are a tailgate member of the Joe Boo Sports Report, okay, you know, the memberships, make sure you click on the join button and get the email that goes directly to Michael, because you tailgate members, I want to do something a little extra for you guys, and I need your address again because I want to send you something, okay? So make sure you do that for a brother, okay? Just click on the join button. I think I'm missing 10 of you guys, 10 of you, and I want to make sure that I get this together. So anyway, back to where I was. Cowboy stats and graphs on Bleacher Report actually put this up on here, and maybe I need to go ahead and change the clock, because they posted on here 20 days, 23 hours, 36 minutes until they got a phone call in there, and every time you get a phone call and you're recording, it drops the call. So let's go back to that. 20 days, 23 hours, 36 minutes until the Dallas Cowboys can sign Dak Prescott to a long-term deal. Now, see, that was the thing that was in question in my mind. I was not sure if it ended up being that the Cowboys could sign him as soon as the last game they play is up, or if it ends up being that you can sign them after, you know, the Super Bowl, which would be like February 4th or 5th. So that is actually good news to actually hear that that's where they stand at the moment. So the question will the Dallas Cowboys have a sense of urgency to get Dak Prescott's deal done, which won't be able to be ratified until the beginning of the new year, but they can lock him in as opposed to letting him sit there and say, you know what, we're going to put a franchise tag on you. This is going to be some big speculation onto what the Cowboys will do. And as you're seeing, this is the amazing thing about it to me. This is what's really, really crazy. For some people, it's amazing how people are so polarized. If you were a Dak fan before, you're constantly going to be a Dak fan. If you were always on the train of Dak Prescott, it doesn't matter what you've seen in front of you. The Cowboys averaged almost 33 points a game with Dak Prescott as the quarterback. Dak Prescott has thrown, in those 4 3/4 of a game, has thrown more yards than everybody else on the Dallas Cowboys has combined in the 8 games since. Is it 8 games? Yeah, eight games and a quarter. Dak has still thrown more yards than that. We're only averaging 16 points a game, half of what we were doing before. You've seen, you had receivers that were on pace to each go over 1,000 yards. Yeah. You've seen what the difference of Dak Prescott versus, say, Carson Wentz. You've seen how a lot of these passes that, you know, where people would say that Dak's accuracy wasn't quite there, that Dak couldn't read much and this, that, and the other, that all that stuff was bullshit. So, the question will the Dallas Cowboys finally go ahead and say, you know what, we've played enough games here, let's get this deal done. And I'm going to tell you why Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones need to get this thing done sooner than later. Looking, depending on between Sports Track and Over the Cap and whichever site, you see the Dallas Cowboys currently with about $28 million to $33 million in cap space. The Cowboys can franchise tag Dak Prescott for $37 million. Yeah, you can do that. You're okay. Depending on what happens with the salary cap after the end of the year receipts go through and they figure out how much money they actually made, and whether or not the cap will hit that floor at 175 or if it'll be more at 195. The word is that they're thinking that it's going to be closer to that 195. That, you know, as long as they can get the rest of the games in, they're still going to make pretty good money on the NFL, which is great news if you're Cowboys, because then you're actually looking at more like, you know, about $55 million. And if you have $55 million, great. But ultimately for the Dallas Cowboys, you understand that you got one more year before the salary cap explodes because of the new collective bargaining agreement. And if you're the Dallas Cowboys and you're looking and saying, next year is the year. Next year is the year we're going to have an easy schedule that's going to allow us to get a lot of victories and maybe get us a home playoff game, you know, and things like that. We're going to have high draft picks. We're going to have our quarterback back. We're going to have a lot of guys that are out now. That next year is the year that we try and go all in to try and get Jerry Jones that Super Bowl trophy. Then you go ahead and you get Dak Prescott's deal done before time for the franchise tag, before the league year gets started. Because you'll be able to get that contract number instead of $37 million hit, maybe get it for about a $22 million hit. And leave yourself some room where you say, okay, you know what, we're going to go out and we're going to get a great safety that's a veteran, or we're going to go out and get a great defensive tackle to help out in the middle, or we're going to go ahead and get that veteran offensive lineman to help, and go through the draft and try and say, let's get this thing together for one big push while we have everything in place. Keep in mind what's going to happen again this year, unless, a miracle happens for the Eagles. No team repeats as division winners since the 2003-2004 season. Just don't. And the Eagles, unless they can find a way to, inch their way up into it, it's going to happen again. So be it the Washington football team or the New York Giants that win it, don't count on them being the ones that win the division next year. And this is your opportunity to really make some noise. Think about it. The Eagles, worst to first. They were in the basement the year before and they made that Super Bowl run and won. Just saying. Just saying. I'm Mark Holmes and I hope to see you guys tonight. And damn, it's cold out here. See ya.